What is up, everybody? Radius back here with another tutorial. In this one I'm going to explain FX chains. And FX chains are the FX slots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that you see on all these different inserts and send channels in the mixer in Fruity Loops Studio. A lot of people seem to be making, the same mistake and not thinking that, the order which you put stuff in makes a difference. It doesn't sometimes, but it does other times. And I'm going to show you guys right now the first reason why, you should generally think about, the order that you have your EQ and compression and limiters in and stuff like that. I've definitely ramped up this song to go over in the red above 0 dB, so I'm just going to play that for you for 1 second. It might be really loud, so just bear with me. Okay, so you can see that we are going over profusely, like hugely, and it sounds like shit. So I'm going to show you guys the mistake most people use. They think by putting, a fruity limiter just in here in the middle that it will solve their issues, but if you watch, it is limiting it properly. But what a lot of people do in mistake is after the chain and the fruity limiter they'll add an EQ or something, and that'll screw it up. And I'll show you guys right now what I mean. Just watch again. See, so the fruity limiter is cutting us off at 0 dB, minus 0.3 dB decibels, and if we put an EQ here, if we put an EQ there and we raise that 6 up, make that a little bit louder, bring that a little bit out more in the mix, it still limits. Now watch what happens when we use another parametric EQ. We disable this one and we play. It's still holding on, but as soon as we make changes, we're not getting our limit anymore, because what's happening is the limiter's cutting off the song, but the EQ after the limiter is it's affecting the whole mix. So the last thing that you should have in your master chain is your limiter or your final compressor. If you notice, when you make a new project in FL Studio, they automatically put the limiter in the very bottom slot on the master channel now. I noticed that they've done that at least in FL Studio 10 and 9, I believe. But I've seen a lot of people make this mistake where they can't figure out why they keep going in the red, but they have the limiter halfway up the list, so it does matter what you put in those slots. I'll just show you guys one more time. So there, we're getting limited, and there our limiter's working, but as soon as we do something after the limiter, the EQ's taking over. So if you ever got into mixing and they say mix your song to under 0 dB, like about 90-89%, that is why. Because if you limit your song to 0 dB, there's no room for other people to come in or you to come in later and add some EQ or whatever the track needs to sound nicer in the mastering stage. So that's a big reason why they tell you to mix lower, get your song to sound good at a lower volume level, not to make it loud. That's their job. So yeah, it does make a difference how you stack your FX in your channel or master. It makes a big difference. I'll give you another example. If let's say you have an instrument and you have a reverb in 2, the slot number 2 for that instrument, and you have an EQ in slot 3 for that instrument. what that EQ is doing is it's EQing the reverb also. So if you put the EQ before the reverb, the EQ is going to EQ that sound before the reverb hits. So it's going to use less CPU usage because it's not going to have to, work around all that reverb sound. It's going to be working with the flat sound that you want, and then afterwards the reverb is going to kick in. And if you follow stuff like this, you'll notice that your mixes will sound a lot cleaner, more crisp, because your parametric EQ isn't trying to eat through all that reverb sound. So just keep that in mind. This goes with everything. If you have a sound that you're compressing, you can EQ after compression, but I suggest you EQ before compression and then compress the EQ'd sound, because that's just less work, for the compressor to do or the EQ to do. I can't think of really any more examples off the moment, but FX chains do, have issues and stuff. It does matter what you put in there. I can't tell you the exact, put a chorus here, a reverb here, a compressor here, because rules are made to be broken in music, and you can do that if you want, but I'm just saying that you're gonna notice cleaner mixes and stuff if you you follow these kind of guidelines where you limit at the very end. You do the finishing touches at the end of the spectrum, like 7 and 8. If you do all your polishing in the last, in all your fixes up here, you're gonna have a really crisp, clear sound, as opposed to the compressors and stuff, trying to eat through all the reverbs and stuff like that. So EQ before effects is always a good idea, I think. And it'll give you a cleaner reverb too in the end, because you're already cutting out the stuff that you do not want in the sound, or you're bringing it out, and then you're emphasizing it with the reverb. So if you guys have any questions about this, just leave me a comment below. I hope I explained it well. I don't know how many people that I've met, have said, oh, it doesn't matter, what order you have anything in, but I just gave you guys proof right there that it does. And when you guys are mixing your songs, just try to remember, if you're not doing your final mix, so just keep the level, about 90%, 89%, maybe a little higher or lower, it all depends, and get your song sounding good across the board that way. And then afterwards you can add, your full song reverbs and your full song EQs and stuff like that. So anyways, I hope this was helpful. I hope I covered, some stuff that you guys were wondering about, because I've seen this mistake happen so many times. People send me their files and like, oh, my song's not limiting right, and it's just a matter of that they have their limiter up in their FX chain and they have their EQs and stuff after, and it's not cutting off the song properly. So anyways, guys, I hope this was a good tutorial for you. Have a good day.